Hi Teacher Fit, my name is Bailey. Welcome. Today we're going to be doing the second part of our chakra series, working on our sacral chakra. So we're going to be moving through some yin poses, which if you did the first one, you're going to be familiar, longer held poses, trying to come into that passive place of our stretches. This quiet stillness in these stretches, really establishing that relationship with ourselves and stillness. So today, sacral chakra. So think navel, right under your navel. That's where our sacral chakra is located, and the color associated with it is orange. It's oftentimes unbalanced when your root chakra is unbalanced. The associated feelings and emotions that come with your sacral chakra are things like creativity, passion, joy, the true essence of who you are as a human. And it's really hard to emit that, to tap into your creativity when you are not feeling safe and secure in your life, which that's your root chakra. And once you start to really establish the sense of grounding that you need in your life, so if you feel pulled in all of these different directions, and if maybe your home life is a little bit scattery, as a lot of ours are right now, you know, having to work and live from home, do all of these things from home, it can kind of confuse our root chakra. So giving time in meditation and stillness, even just 5 minutes a day, to root down with the intention of grounding and connecting back into safety is going to really put you in a good position to be able to tap into your sacral chakra and emit that joy and that creativity that is unique and true to you, and honestly the really just fun part of being alive, getting to express who you are in a unique way. So the idea behind today is to move into those poses that are going to help us access our sacral chakra. And I want you to do it with as little effort as you can. And if you need this to be completely restorative, you can take that that direction as well. So we're going to start today in a wide-legged shape. So scooching back a bit, if you want to use the length of your mat here, I want you to just stretch your legs out and find a V shape. Notice how that feels, not your biggest V, something comfortable, right? And you're going to start to pull your left foot in towards your right thigh, finding tree-shaped legs, okay? Sit up nice and tall, and then with your exhale, fold towards the middle at first. So you might come on to forearms, and then start to crawl your hands towards the right as you frame your right foot. So there's a little bit of a twist here, right? And this is where you get to choose. You can stay like this, melt all the way down if you have that flexibility in your practice, or you can start to grab your pillows, your couch cushions, a rolled up blanket, lay this right on top of your leg here, and sink in. So finding some way to cultivate some ease in the pose. While you may still be feeling intensity through the stretch, that's fine, but you need to make sure that you're balancing the effort and ease here. So you're approaching your threshold of your stretch here, but you're not forcing into it. That's the difference between yin and yang yoga. Yang, we might say, relax your foot, grab onto it, fold, press the back of your leg into the mat, right? Really getting into our hamstrings. Here, we don't want that. We want to soften our foot, soften our whole leg, find this sense of melting, of floppiness, but still experiencing some stretch here, maybe in a different way than you would if you were bringing in all of that effort. And as you maybe close your eyes here and start to explore how this feels in your body, it's not just exploring physically, but explore how it feels for you to be still and to not move. A lot of us tend to bring in fidgets as a way really to release energy. We don't know that. You know, when we start to fidget, that's our energy saying, like, I need to move, something needs to happen, or maybe our brain is just going, we had too much coffee, whatever. Establishing a relationship with stillness helps to smooth out moments like that. You can use your breath to connect in, get nice and aware. Breathing through any fidgets that you have and allowing yourself to be still. Good. Take one more long breath in. And a long breath out. Start inhaling as you walk yourself back up through center. Good, and we're gonna switch sides. So stretch out your left leg and bring your right foot somewhere along towards that inner thigh here. Again, any bolsters or blocks that you might want. First, breathing in along spine, exhale, fold through the center. Notice how that feels at first. And then start to frame your left leg with your arms, your hands here. You can stay like this. Let your chin melt towards your chest. Your head hangs. No tension at all. We're not holding ourselves up. We're just rounding and falling. Good. So you can stay this way. Again, grab on some blocks, bolsters. There's so many different ways you can use to set yourself up, stack, and collapse. But the reason that we move into these yin postures is to not only cultivate that relationship with discomfort and stillness, but to also come into our connective tissues, our fascia, and really allow some healing for not only our parasympathetic nervous system to allow us to come back to that more calm space within ourselves, but to really just settle into our joints and let different parts of our body get some attention than they would in a regular vinyasa class. So staying here for about 5 more rounds of breath, so about 2 minutes or so. Really letting yourself fall into it. Noticing if any thoughts come up. What happens when you're told to be still? What happens when you're forced to let those thoughts come in that you might be ignoring? Can you breathe through them, right? Are you trying to push them away? Oftentimes in class, there's this pressure to release your thoughts, come back to them after class. Sometimes it's good to bring your thoughts in, invite them into the pose, right? So if you're feeling angry, if you had a certain kind of day, bring that in and work that energy out through your pose. Let it fizzle out through the stretch. Give yourself time to give the attention to those things that you need to. And use your physical practice to be a tool to let it go, or to maybe be the first step in that letting go. It's a process, right? So walking your hands back upright, and then start to unravel, stretching your legs out. Good. And from here, we're going to start to bring the soles of our feet together. So this is butterfly in your legs. There's a couple different ways to come into this. If you know and love this shape, have at it. You can fold forward, you can do whatever you'd like. I'm going to show everyone else kind of what they could do. If you have blocks, they can come underneath your knees on any setting. Also, your feet can come very close in towards your body, or you can bring them very far out in front of you. However you want to experience the stretch, it's up to you. So that's an option, okay? You can stay upright or you can fold. Again, use anything that you have around you, put it inside the center here, and collapse. Find a way to soften into these poses for full restoration if that's what you're choosing, or let yourself find a spot where you can start to explore this stretch, creeping right up into that threshold that, okay, I cannot go any further in this stretch, and then stay there, right? So not backing out of your threshold and not forcing through it, but you are hovering in this place of, I can't go anymore, this place of, this is not pain, but this is very uncomfortable. And let that discomfort be a tool as you settle, as you soften, and as you start to keep adjusting here, finding the right place to arrive. Let your breath help you iron out any wiggles, any thoughts. Breathe through them and release them on your exhales. Your breath is a tool for your discomforts, and your discomfort is a tool for your growth. Let them all work together, and your body is just here along for the ride. Really good. If any thoughts come up while you're here in this stillness, like how long is this woman going to keep me in this pose and why, that's fine. The more you practice these yin classes, the more you start to understand their benefit. Working through those internal relationships with ourselves. So still folded or sitting upright, right? You all have different thresholds. So this may be enough for some of you with your blocks under your knees. You can always close your eyes through this stillness. It's up to you. Good. And if you are folded, start to slowly come back upright. Good. And you stay where you are unless you need to shift around like I will. We're gonna take this same shape, but we're gonna come onto our backs. So your legs are gonna stay as they are. So you might bring your hands back behind you and come onto your forearms. If your legs need to change shape as you come onto your back, let that happen. So you can just take this shape right like this if you'd like. If you feel more comfortable with one hand to your heart and the other hand to your belly, connecting in with your breath, sometimes that's lovely. Also, you can bring a bolster or a pillow along the length of your spine. So scooch it all the way up and in. And this gives you a little bit of a back bend here. So you want to keep your sit bones grounded. Your hips are on the mat here. Letting your shoulders roll to one side of the bolster. And adjust. Do you want to bring your heels in close to your body or send them towards the top of your mat? Closing your eyes. Letting this shape arrive in your body in its own way. So breathing through any tension. Noticing what's happening here. Is there any stale, sticky energy in your body? Send all the breath to those places as you soften some more. So yin is just a beautiful, beautiful practice for getting very curious with yourself, with how you respond to pain, to discomfort, and knowing the difference between the two. So you're looking for that discomfort, and you're then looking for, how can I be okay with it? Sometimes your brain will take those fight or flight responses when it starts to feel discomfort. It definitely does with pain. But discomfort can trigger that within your brain as well. So the more you do this and the more you let yourself get uncomfortable, the more your brain starts to learn, I don't have to go there. I don't have to get that response chemically that's going to encourage me to leave this shape. Eventually your brain is just going to say, oh, I remember this. I'm okay here. Taking about 5 more breaths in this shape. There's always an opportunity to adjust. And there's always an opportunity to stay in any of these positions longer. You can always meet me wherever I am when you're ready. Listening to your body is more important than listening to me. Good, and if you have any bolsters or anything that are propping you up in any way, you can use your forearms to kind of lift yourself up and shift those off to the side. Because we're going to come onto our back from flat. Start to bring your knees into your chest here. Give yourself a squeeze, especially if you had that back bend from your pillow. Press your low back into the mat. You can wiggle to the left, you can wiggle to the right. Good, and there's a few ways that you can do this next pose. If you're by a wall, I'll show you some options for doing this posture at the wall. Otherwise, bring your feet flat to the mat, cross your right ankle over your left thigh. And notice your knee here. It might just kind of casually be flopping in. I want you to send your knee away from you. Start to lift your left foot off the mat and hug your left knee towards your chest. Reach your right arm through your legs and your left arm around your leg. You can grab onto either that left shin and hug in or the back of your left thigh, but you want this left leg to be a prop. So let your foot flop down, use the strength of your arms, hug in, And then notice where you feel this stretch. So it seems like we're doing all of this stuff with our legs, but really this stretch is happening in our hip here. Notice where else you feel it in your body. So we have to be a little bit more active because we're using the strength of our arms here. And that's fine because depending on your environment, you may not have a wall nearby. If you do, you can come over to that wall, bring your hips about 6 inches away from it. Both of your feet are flat, still crossing that right ankle over your left thigh. You can decide, straighten out your leg, your left leg. Notice how that feels for the stretch. Or start to bring your left foot on the wall as you bend your left knee, using the wall here to get into your hip stretch. So the more you bend your left knee, the more you'll feel a stretch. The more you straighten out your left leg onto the wall, the more ease you'll feel. So you're searching for that threshold in your stretch. And you can do that again at the wall or on your backs here. For some of us, we may not even need our hands or arms at all. This may be the threshold of your stretch. This is a big hip opener. So I want you to stay here for about 3 more rounds of your breath. Give yourself some conscious stillness here. Breathing in and breathing out fully. Notice how your chest, your belly rises as you inhale. And how everything falls and sinks and settles back into your mat as you exhale. One last round of breath. You can stay at the wall if you're doing the other side. If you're staying on your mat, take that right ankle off your left thigh, switch sides. So you'll either draw your right leg up along the wall, crossing your left ankle over your thigh, or if you're on your back, same thing, left ankle, right thigh, you can squeeze, hug in, or stay where you are. Left hand comes through the center of your legs here. Right arm goes around, squeeze in. Finding your threshold of a stretch. There's always an opportunity to dial it up if you need to cradle, bringing your right foot to the inside of your left foot rather to the inside of your right elbow and your left elbow around. So you just interlace your hands and you can stretch out your right leg completely. It's another way to experience those thresholds for yourself differently for everybody. And reminder, the more you bend your knee if you're at the wall, the more effort you'll feel. The more you straighten out your leg if you're at the wall, the more ease you'll feel, because when you bend in, that knee comes closer in. Good. 3 more long breaths in and out. Be a witness to what's happening with your body, with your thoughts and emotions. Allowing this time to be a witnessing of that internal landscape that we oftentimes ignore. Days get so busy, and the external world is where the majority of our focus lies. Give yourself the attention it longs for. Really good. So releasing anything that you have. Start to hug your knees into your chest, and if you were at the wall, start to come back to your mat here. And take a breath in, pressing your low back down into the mat. Good. We're gonna move into our supine twists here. So I want you to let your knees drop over to the right. Arms are gonna come to a T, gaze to the left. We're gonna be on each side for our supine twist for about 3 minutes each. So set yourself up. Using a bolster, so sometimes it feels nice to put a bolster along your spine here so you can lean back on it. You can bring a bolster between your knees if you'd like. Anything that feels good, comfortable, set yourself up. If you want to cover up with a blanket, do that. But in our supine twist here, we may experience a threshold. It may be subtle. So noticing as you start to let go and surrender a little bit into the shape, how the experience changes in the pose. Letting it be different as gravity just takes your body. Feeling all the points of contact as your body melts into the mat. Breathing in through the full length of your spine, long inhale. Letting every drop of air out as you exhale. Keep breathing in and out this way. Letting yourself be still and quiet. And witnessing whatever comes up while you're here. On the next few breaths, notice how this twist feels, how it's changed since you've arrived. Have you fallen a little more deeply into it? And then start to bring your attention to your chest, your heart here. Noticing this heart opener from one shoulder to the other. Breathing in right there. We spend a lot of our days hovered over something. Steering wheels, reaching forward, typing, devices, children. So really letting your heart open here, opening your chest, breathing in for a few more rounds of breath. And then take your time, go as slowly as you can, like you're moving through honey. Bring your knees into your chest. Notice how it feels to come out of this pose as your back comes flat on the mat, knees hug in. And then let both of your knees drop to the left. You might reposition your hips to the center of your mat to keep both shoulders flat. Good, gazing to the right. Use your props how you like here. Same thing. This bolster might feel nice right back here. Leaning back with it. Or between your thighs. You can also use a block for that. Allowing the twist to occur without any work from you. Gravity takes you. Notice if you're holding yourself a certain way to make the shape look right. There's no right, there's no wrong. Fall into it. Let it be messy. Let it just be what it needs to be. As you honor where you're at right now. Taking full breaths in and out. You might draw the awareness to your spine and noticing if there's any sense of equilibrium, any sense of balance that might be returning to it. Coming back to your breath if those thoughts started to creep back in. Use your inhales and exhales to push the awareness towards breath rather than thoughts. Letting them come in and letting them float away. Sometimes the only thing those thoughts need are a little bit of attention, a little bit of awareness of them, and then they go. They just need to be seen. So as they draw in, have a nice little look and send them away. Take about 5 more rounds of breath here. Noticing the energetic quality of your pose. So not what this feels like physically, but what does this feel like energetically? Does this feel vibrant? Does it feel calm? Does it feel soft? Just noticing that, not judging it. Taking your time, when you're ready, as slowly as you can, keeping that energetic quality that you just established. As you draw back in towards center, hug your knees to your chest, move slow. And as slowly as you can go, press yourself into a comfortable seat, right? So you can grab onto the backs of your thighs, rock up slowly, or press into your forearms as you lift into a comfortable seat, crossing your legs, eyes closed. Bring your hands to your hearts as you start to bow down towards your center here. Finding gratitude for your practice, for yourself, for making this time, showing up for you so that you can show up for those that you love just a bit more. I invite you to release your palms down towards your thighs here with your eyes closed and stay in seated meditation with yourself as long as it feels comfortable. Inviting in that silence and letting all the pieces of your practice start to arrive throughout your body. Breathing into the discomfort of stillness and exhaling as you release that and invite in whatever lessons it may have for you. For those of us wrapping up now, start to blink your eyes open. Great work. I'll see you for round 3 of our chakra series next time. Namaste.